Hello, better beer drinkers of the world. Tonight, I'm returning to a classic for the first time in quite a while. Duvel Belgian Golden Ale, bottle conditioned, the classic example of a Belgian strong pale ale, and they kind of invented the style and clearly set it apart from a Belgian triple, they're both similar, usually 8 to 9%, pale, yeasty, highly carbonated, bottle conditioned Belgian style beers. But Duvel just made it even paler and even hoppier, and with the more refined, subtle, yeasty characteristic. And I've really enjoyed the recent Duvel triple hops they've made, where they make an amped up version of Duvel that's 9% alcohol, or 9.5% alcohol, and then they dry hop it with some new cool variety of hops. And since I've been drinking those for the past 2 years, I haven't had the original Duvel in quite a while, so I'm excited to try it again. And it is 8.5% alcohol, and they use Styrian Goldings and Zatz hops, two classic hop Zatz known in every true Pilsner. And this has a best before of 3/2017, and on the website they said has a shelf life of 2 years, so I'm guessing this means that it was brewed about 9 months ago, or 8 months ago. And Duvel holds up pretty well. I've never had a bottle that I was like, this is not too great. But the Duvel triple hop, since that one is dry hopped, I've always tried to get that one pretty fresh. And when I've had the year-old one, it just kind of didn't stand out too much, I think, from the regular Duvel, because you lose that special hoppy aroma. The regular Duvel is not dry hopped, I believe, from everything I've looked up. And I think it's time to open it up. I don't have the official Duvel glass, but this one is pretty close. And they say to pour with a pretty big head, and you know I love big heads, so I'm not against that. Very, very pale. They wanted to keep the yeast in there to show how perfectly clear and golden that is. It's amazing how well they bottle condition this, that it almost looks like it's filtered, but it has ample carbonation. Maybe not quite as carbonated as some other times I've had Duvel, but with a pretty towering firm head. I kept this in the fridge for a couple days, and I find that usually with bottle conditioned beers, if you keep them in the fridge for a few days, the carbonation will settle down just slightly, and also helps all the yeast to settle to the bottom, so you can almost see, yeah, you can see through that pretty well, even on the camera there, but not filtered at all. Oh, such a refreshing aroma. It has all those European, grassy, lemony, herbal, but delicate hop aromas in there. Aromas like a Pilsner, but you can tell it's got a more intense, grainy quality to it. It was just a little bit of that fruity, spicy yeast, but it's nothing like a big clove and banana or golden raisin smelling triple. It's much more refreshing of a smell. It doesn't seem nearly as sweet as some triples smell. And some triples, unfortunately, are very sweet, when I don't believe there are any Belgian triples that are actually as sweet as like La Fin du Monde makes it, even though that one is a loved example. And this does not smell like it will be very sweet at all. And it looks a lot like just some really extremely well-made Pilsner that is bottle conditioned in a way. It's so pale. And it has some pears, some sort of crab apples in there too. Maybe a little bit of honey. Wildflowers, very floral. It's a big, complex aroma, but kind of focused. It's not all over the place. It's mostly these green and not quite exactly citrus fruits, more on the apple pear side of the fruit spectrum. I don't know what to call apples and pears exactly. They're not stone fruits. They're not citrus fruits. They're not dark fruits. But it also just, even with the carbonation not being quite as crazy usually as the aroma is still huge. And having a nice big glass to get your nose deep in there will reward the inside of your nasal cavities. It just smells like the masterful European brewing they've been doing for the last couple hundred years, ever since they figured out how to do Pilsner malts and make pale beers. Even though Duvel is not a super old beer, I believe they've only been making it quite like this for 50 years or less, maybe. And the triple style, which is similar, is only actually about 70 years. I think it was influenced by everyone loving all the Pilsners taking over Europe, basically. So they're like, let's try to make some big, formidable Belgian style thing, but make it pale and smell like a Pilsner and make it refreshing. And everyone went crazy for it. And that's why it's called Duvel, which means devil. It seems like it's going to be some refreshing light Pilsner that you can just drink pints and pints of. But no, you don't want to do this, even though you could with this one. Still a nice big soapy head hanging out. Haven't even had it yet. Let's see. Ethereal, fluffy feel with a nice honeyish floral tang that finishes that makes it seem like there's a hint of sweetness in there. But the body's so light and it's not syrupy at all. It's very good. Even at the age it's at, I don't notice any off flavors at all. When I first opened the bottle, I was like, is there a hint of skunk? But all the other flavors just come out strongly enough, and I think there was a little bit of skunked aroma just from the light getting into the bottle that disappeared very quickly. It just smells like lots of different kinds of cereal, almost like a Frosted Flakes aroma a little bit, with that special sort of candy-like quality coming out of the yeast, but it's not too big on that. Maybe just a touch of golden raisin. And it's a little bit prickly on the tongue. A quick hit of bitterness, but nothing like a resinous IPA that's gonna kind of rake your tongue and make it feel like you have a cat's tongue. It kind of scrapes around on the roof of your mouth. It doesn't do that. This is just a kind of a whip crack of intense flavors that fades away pretty quickly and makes you be thinking, let's go back for some more. And it also helps you move gases out of your stomach. What other flavors can I say? It's all these great honey, apple, not quite nutty. It seems like it's almost like some raw nuts, maybe slivered almonds. Maybe just a hint of marzipan, but still not actually sweet. It's just a beautiful feat of modern and brewing engineering. And I really don't notice any alcohol. Like, maybe just a touch of heat in the throat, but not even really. And it's the aroma. Yeah, it has some phenols, just a little bit of black pepper clove, but it's not big enough to make it seem medicinal in any way, like some big Belgian beers that are really boozy. I'm sure you could prank someone, give them this, and be like, hey, this is a new Pilsner that I really like. And if they hadn't, as long as they hadn't been drinking a Pilsner before to compare this with, they would probably be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. It's a little warming in the throat, yeah. But I think you could probably get this to people and they would not know it's 8.5%. It doesn't quite get to bubblegum, maybe just a little bit of juicy fruit bubblegum, but it's not like that big gumball aroma that you notice with some big Belgian beers and American-made Belgian IPAs. Just a hint of runts in there. I think pears are a good way to describe the fruitiness. Definitely almost, and it reminds me of sort of dry pear skin a little bit. This is very good. It deserves a 9 out of 10. It would be heresy to give anything else than that. It's something that I've been overlooking too long, and I might even like this more than the Duvel Triple Hop, because that one's just almost too big and bitter, and it's 9.5%. This is like the perfect point for this one, where they nail it, just the refreshing quality of it and all the flavors. And it's come out perfectly without anything being too overwhelming. So everyone, if you haven't had Duvel, do it now.